Hey guys, my name is Mark and I'm best known for my surf skating content on YouTube. But I live in Ottawa, Canada, and from November to April, there's always the risk that we'll have snow on the ground. So in the winter, I have found a winter equivalent of surf skating as a way to get a surf fix, and that is pow surfing, and I'm going to walk you through that today. Hey guys, Mark the Landlocked Surfer. And I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite winter things to do when the surf skate season is off, and that is pow surfing. Pow surfing has similarities to snowboarding and to surfing, but what I love about it is its simplicity. You don't need a lot of equipment. All you need is a board. This is a pow surf board. You can see there's no bindings or anything. It's a board that's got a bit of shape to it, a little bit of grip on the surface. You don't need snowboard boots or anything, just something warm, and you ride down the hill. The other two key ingredients you need: snow and lots of it, and a hill. I'm just using this little toboggan hill that's near me, and it's just perfect for pow surfing. So I'll walk you through some of the things you need to get started and trying pow surfing for the first time. Snowboarding was a big part of my life growing up, but it was only about 2 years ago that I first saw a video on YouTube of people pow surfing. And I was just blown away when I saw that footage. I was like, what do you mean you can do this without bindings? It looked like they were surfing on the snow, just having that freedom without bindings stretched in. I had to try it. And as soon as I did, I fell in love with it. So this is a sport that has similarities to surfing in the way your body moves, and similarities to snowboarding as well. So if you have a background in those two sports, it's going to be a lot quicker to pick up. I also find that if you have some surf skating background, it's going to be helpful cross-training, because with pow surfing, you really have to focus on using your upper body to drive the turns. A big difference from snowboarding is that because you don't have the bindings fixed to you, you have to use the momentum of your whole body to create the torque for your turns. You can't just force them by moving your feet. So it's going to help get the wiggle pumping out of your system if you're a surf skater, and it's just fun to do even if it's not training for surfing or not training for surf skating. The board I'm using in this video is an entry-level Burton backseat driver pow surfer. It costs a little under $400. They range up to the prices as high as getting close to $2,000, but you don't need anything too fancy. I find this one works way better than the DIY Burton that I first bought, which was around $120. And I find this will probably be good if you're not someone who's out cruising the backcountry in a helicopter. It's a really good starter board. It's simple, but it lets you feel the snow. It lets you get some lean into your turns because there is some shape to the base, unlike the flat base of a snowboard. So the key things when you're getting started out, you need a board, and is finding your foot positioning is going to make a big difference. You have the freedom once you're in motion to move your feet around, but getting started on your run, getting your feet into a comfortable position for your stance, which would be similar to your surfing stance, that's going to help out. The other thing, because you're going to be riding in deep powder, you want to make sure you keep your nose above the snow. So you don't want to dig in, you don't want to go pearl diving as you would in surfing. So finding that positioning that lets you keep your nose floating. You'll notice here I'm getting into kind of that tuck knee stance that you have in surfing. So that's one of the areas you can see the similarities between surfing and pow surfing that's going to help you with your weighting and your balance and initiating those turns. Once you've found a comfortable stance, the next thing is going to be initiating turns. And if you have a background in snowboarding, this is when you're going to really have to feel your surf vibes here, because your instinct is going to be to try to force things and you're just going to slide right out. You have to take things a little bit more slowly with the pow surfer. You kind of let the snow and the board control you rather than forcing yourself into a turn. So you're basically just taking things a little bit slower. You're starting the rotation with your upper body and letting the board and your feet follow along. Once you get into that rhythm, you'll find you're able to make really nice S-carves without a lot of effort. So it's really mostly about kind of staying loose and letting the board do the work and letting your body just ride with the terrain. Having a lot of powder is really going to be helpful, and I actually find it easier on steeper terrain when you're getting started. When it's not as steep, it's harder to actually get enough resistance to be able to do the turns, and you're more prone to sliding out. When you're going downhill and you have deep powder, you can actually kind of lean into that piled up snow. So it's something that you might have to practice on a few different days in different conditions before you start to feel that rhythm. But once you get it, it's like riding a bike, and you're going to be able to continue building on that. So is Powsurfing going to make you a better surfer? I'm going to say no. But I will say that it lets you practice the motions of surfing that you might not get an opportunity to if, like me, you're landlocked and don't have access to surf in the winter. So I think it's better than nothing. I don't think it's going to translate directly to surfing, but it's fun, and that's the key thing. That feeling of freedom that I get when I surf, not being strapped in with bindings, having the opportunity to hang 10, to do shove-its or things like that on a snowboard is just really freeing. And it also opens up the opportunity to do kind of more unconventional things, some street riding when you're not strapped in and you have the ability to do kind of boneless drops off things like that. So that's really fun, and I think that's the key thing, is it's fun. When you're riding on your Powsurfer, it kind of feels like you're surfing. So to me, this is more about just a way to have fun, to simulate surfing, not so much a surf training exercise. But with that said, I think if you have the opportunity to try it, it's definitely worth a go. The last thing that I'll say about Powsurfing that is sort of similar to surfing is it's really fun exploring and trying to find places where you can find, virgin snow hills that might not have been explored before. Because you can't really use this at a commercial ski hill where they groom the hills, it's really fun, scouring Google Maps and trying to find somewhere that might have some topography, where you'll have some powder and find some great snow so you can surf. So to me, that is really fun similarity to surfing as well. And yeah, it's just a really fun activity to do when you can't get out and surf. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm not a super experienced Powsurfer, but I do it as often as I can, and it's a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We got more surf skate videos coming up next.